What people usually associate with the concept of God is actually thinking matter that permeates the entire universe. This is the conclusion reached by the Soviet astrophysicist Anatoly Akimov. Once, the famous medieval scientist Paracelsus noted, those phenomena that were initially considered mystical, over time become scientific knowledge. In the days of our distant ancestors, the appearance of lightning was explained as a manifestation of the wrath of the god Zeus, but today electrical discharges of this kind are demonstrated in school lessons, confirming their scientific nature. This is what the physicist Anatoly Akimov said. He also claimed that the modern world could not have arisen on its own, but had a higher intelligent principle. In his articles, he wrote about the relationship between man and space and the existence of invisible rays emanating from man. Great scientists of the past, including Isaac Newton, did believe in God. Science and religion were not separated until Newton's time, and many of the first scientists were priests, as they were the most educated people. Newton himself in his statements indicated that the laws of mechanics are derived from the laws of God. Later, science and religion moved away from each other with the development of mathematics and experimental physics. However, modern research in the field of physical vacuum confirms that in most cases there are no contradictions between science and religion. Akimov also stated that the creation of a person from cells would take more time than the age of the entire universe. For example, microscopic studies of processes inside cells cause amazement among scientists who ask the question, how could such a complex and perfect device appear without the guidance of a higher mind? If we say that man appeared as a result of evolution, then the emergence of a human being in the form in which we know him would take much more time than the age of the universe. The scientist gave an example of physical constants that clearly determine the structure of our world: the gravitational constant, the magnetic constant, the Bohr radius, etc. Moreover, about 30 years ago, one of the scientists proved that if these constants are changed even slightly by at least 1%, the world will become unstable and neither atomic nuclei nor electron orbits will arise. The same can be said about our universe. Why do planets move along precisely defined orbits, and not along some random trajectories? In general, the world in which we live is governed by complex laws, and its stability is determined, among other things, by these constants. In his opinion, everything in our world is subject to complex patterns that ensure its stability. Akimov was also interested in the phenomenon of clairvoyance and claimed that there is a certain repository of information about the universe, to which clairvoyants connect. He suggested conducting experiments to check whether their visions were fantasies or manifestations of a special ability. The scientist did not doubt the existence of a supreme being in the universe. To prove the existence of a supreme being, Anatoly Akimov provided quantitative calculations of the elements within the observable universe. According to the scientist, the number of these elements should be at least 1055. In order for all the elements of the universe to develop, someone needs to control them. This control is carried out using signals. According to Anatoly Akimov's calculations, to move from one end of the universe to the other at the speed of light, by earthly standards, it would take more than 1 billion years. Thus, the scientist came to the conclusion that signals in the universe should spread instantly. The system could not exist as a single whole if this condition were not met. But it is met. At any moment in time, the Creator can manifest His will in the most remote corner of the universe. Otherwise, all the elements of our universe could not exist as a single whole. This conclusion of the scientist does not refute religious ideas about the existence of the Supreme Mind, omnipotent and present always and everywhere. Anatoly Akimov believed that what man calls God is a thinking matter that permeates the entire universe and does not have a human form. The scientist also recognized the existence of the subtle world, where souls reside. He claimed that this world is not parallel to ours, but permeates it. Like electromagnetic waves that we do not see, but which exist in the physical world, the subtle world is not in another dimension, but penetrates our world. By the way, Anatoly Akimov came to such convictions by the age of 55 and at this age was baptized in the church. When the scientist came to church, the priest asked him if he believed in God. "No," the scientist replied. "I realized that God cannot not exist. God is a thinking being, and this supermind has no limitations in creative activity, whether it is the creation of man or the universe.